Chapter 110. Silence. In a hallroom situated in the Mariage, the 5 elders were sitting opposite to the Navy Fleet Admiral with a table in the middle. It was a silent and heavy atmosphere. This is a grave situation. The first to break the silence was an elder. He was bald. He seemed enraged, as even his old face full of wrinkles looked reddish. A world noble was humiliated in front of the whole world. A world. Noble! It is simply unforgivable. Sengoku has let the elders know about the information Hina provided. Even then, the Baldy didn't even care about the fact that an admiral was killed. This was a more serious situation to him and to the world. "Sengoku!" the Baldy called out. Sengoku sighed, already knowing his next words. Meanwhile, the other elders stayed silent. They had the same thoughts as Baldy. Talking too much was meaningless. Send Garp to Skypia. All the world nobles are already enraged. They will be more if we don't present the head of that bastard before them. Overall, it will leave a major effect on the world. The nobles will try to gain back their pride by showing dominance to the civilians. It will be the worst situation. Send Garp, or you go there yourself. I won't rely on an admiral anymore. Sengoku stayed silent hearing them. He couldn't find any excuse to refuse them. This was a serious situation, serious enough to force the marine hero to fight. Sigh, though he still tried to think of another way. We should not rush like that since Lucifer still has the 3 nobles on his grasp. He may kill them if we try to force. The elder knitted his brows. Sengoku was right. Although this was a serious matter, if the nobles were killed, it will evolve into a dangerous one. All the Marines will be forced to go after Lucifer, which can weaken the HQ. At that time, the Emperors might make a move. Things will be out of control and completely chaotic if that happens. Actually, Golden Buddha is right. Zzz. Suddenly, everyone in the room heard a voice coming from up. Their eyes grew. Someone invaded Marijois under our nose. They abruptly looked up, but they found nothing. Look down. The same voice again sounded. This time it came from the same level as them. Again they abruptly looked at their side, the empty sofa. Yo, it's been 5 years since we met like this. Though the room didn't change much, I guess nobles like to keep things clean, huh? In front of them, the man they were talking about was sitting with one leg above the other, looking around the room carefreely. Lucifer! After a short silence, the bald elder rushed ahead at full speed, swinging his sword towards Amon's neck. Slash! The sword touched Amon's skin, but zzzt! It just passed through his body, as if he was an illusion. What? The elder was surprised. But I used armament on the sword. Amon just used the Flash's phasing techniques, though he can do something similar to Katakuri as well. You cheeky little bastard. The elder didn't stop. Rather, the other 4 elders also rushed towards Amon with their weapons unsheathed. All of them used their weapons, fists, and started to attack Amon. Sword slash, Shigan, Tempest kick, Zinix punch, wooden impact, zzz. Amon dodged all the attacks using Ultra Instinct, later by teleporting in the air. He then decided to con them. Hey, calm down. Aren't you curious why I came here despite... No one is curious. Now die! The elders didn't listen at all and rushed towards Amon again. Meanwhile, Sengoku was just observing the match with wide eyes. It was clear to him Amon was playing them. The 5 elders were being played by a young man. After being rejected, Amon's childish smile disappeared as he just silently stared down at the 5 elders. One might question, how strong were these 5 elders? The epitome of world government. The answer was simple. They were monstrously strong. Each of them was stronger than an admiral, but weaker than a fleet admiral because of their age. So Amon was being chased by 5 admiral-plus level people, but he didn't seem worried. He was confident enough to run away, and the ability to escape is everything to a person like him. A spherical orb formed around Amon's body as his face darkened and his eyes shined red. The elders were surprised for a second. Was that intimidation they felt? Impossible! Amon targeted the bald elder and gripped his fist, which was wearing a golden knuckle duster. He came here prepared. While the 5 elders rushed towards him, Amon rushed towards the bald specifically with his fist glowing. Would 10 speed? The world went slow. This was Amon's battlefield. The wind started to swirl around Amon's fist, wind-style railgun punch. Amon hit the guy in his bald head, bending it inward slightly. Although this wasn't flashy like his 700 million volts punch, it was enough since he only wanted to calm him down. Bam! With a hit in the head, the elder flew backward, hitting the wall. A crater was formed, even in this sturdy wall. Spit! Spitting a tooth, the elder just stood up as if nothing happened. Now I can see how you killed Kizaru. Saying this, the elder again rushed forward. However, wait! Sengoku stepped in the middle. He is right. It's something to think about. Why is he here? We should hear him out first. He still has the nobles in his grasp. The bald didn't want to listen and prepared to dash forward, but the hand of another elder on his shoulder made him skeptical. Fine. Just this once. Amon just walked back to the sofa and sat down like before, as if everything that happened until now was a dream. The bald elder then walked to his own seat and sat down. You have 5 minutes. Say anything and everything you want. After the time is up, don't think of leaving this place with your life. Amon just glanced at him before starting to surf his side bag. He took out a camera dial and tossed it to the elder swiftly. The elder caught with a frown. What is the meaning of this? Amon picked up a biscuit which was already served on the table in front. Play it, you will see. After a certain amount of time, the elder did as he asked. Beep! The video with 2 actors in it started to play. Someone stop this filthy beast. In the video, a horse was doing things it shouldn't with a female celestial dragon. It hurts. Someone. It hurts. Bam! The elder instantly crushed the camera by bashing it on the table and prepared to attack Amon yet again. Wait! But Amon just raised his hands as a gesture. I've thousands of digital and physical copies of that. In 2 hours, if I don't return, my trusty assistant is supposed to stream this clip throughout the world. I'm sure you don't want that to happen, right? Amon lied about his assistant. The elder groaned, while his hands holding the hilt of the sword shook. He wanted to kill the man in front tight now. How dare he do that to a world noble? But if what he said was true, killing him would only help the anger of his, not the anger of world nobles. They will be more enraged, seeing their kin like that. The old man released a big breath and sat down. What do you want, you devil bastard? Amon spat on the floor. Devil bastard! Look, I was just protecting my land, my kingdom. I'm a warlord. I was doing a good job too, but you guys had to mess it up. Like why can't those fat bastards calm down? They wanted to make my people their slaves. You think I will sit around still? Be grateful I didn't kill them already, fuckling idiots. The old elders listened to his rant with a frown. That said, let's proceed to what you should generously hand over as compensation. Amon grinned. He had many desires to be fulfilled today. Hours later, was it a good idea to grant him everything he asked for? The bald elder was asking the elder with a big grayed-out beard. Amon asked for many things, but they weren't completely absurd and somewhat grantable in exchange for the dignity of world government and celestial dragons. The bald elder slammed the table. Amon has already left the hall by now. Even after taking all that, he said he will only hand over Berseodo and Ainsworth. He doesn't want to hand over the lady. He gritted his odd teeth. Not only that, but he said he won't also destroy the clips. Then what's the point of doing this? Why suck up to him? Another elder slammed the table. He said he will take over Gran Tesoro and asked us to suppress that news. Do we look like his dogs? Sigh. The bearded elder sighed. You don't get it. We underestimated him. We are at the losing end no matter what. So we should better be on the side with most promises. Don't forget, nothing is important more than the dignity of world nobles. Try to think what will happen to the government if that clip is leaked. Although he seemed to have given up in the presence of Sengoku, his eyes were readable by other elders. We will have to talk with Imu-sama. Reading this message, the bald elder sighed lightly. He recalled Amon's strange but absurd request 6 years ago. It was the numbered 4 condition. Never let the Kuja pirates become a part of the warlord system. Rather, make Kuja pirates a part of my guild. They are to be exempt from their previous sins, but make sure that they are not aware of that. This was what he asked for. And it didn't seem like much of a surprise, seeing a hormonal teenager being interested in beautiful women. But why hide it? If he hides it, then won't all his heroic deeds be hidden under a cloud, thus failing his goal? None of the elders knew. Back then, they only guessed Amon had a special sexual condition. But after 6 years, after hearing his new demands, they knew it wasn't as simple as it looked back then. Just what goes inside that bastard's mind? Nevertheless, he would be finished as long as Imu-sama takes action. What will Amon do when the strongest being on the planet decides to play with him? Or have Amon already foreseen this event? Hey! Suddenly, an elder pointed at the seat Amon was sitting. Isn't that a dial? Looks like the kid dropped it. An elder walked to Amon's seat and picked up the dial. There was a paper note attached to the dial. Hello, this one contains the clip of 2 celestial dragons making love with 2 bulky men. Feel free to relive yourselves. The elder tore the paper and slammed the dial on the ground. Lucifer! Like that, 3 days passed. Hina had reached the HQ and reported everything she saw in detail. Sengoku was overcome with more fear after hearing the events of the incident. Kizaru's was still healing. He will take around another week to fully heal and prove that he isn't dead. Amon is supposed to let the 2 celestial dragons go after his bounty is announced. Currently, Amon was in the upper yard, inside the training hall with only a few people around. Amon was standing on the other side of a table with a few Birkins on the other side. On the table, devil fruits were kept. There were exactly 5 devil fruits. Amon has prepared many trees in the upper yard. All the trees can grow various types of fruits, so there was a chance of devil fruits spawning there most. However, this world has millions and billions of different types of fruit. The fruit trees in the upper yard can't even cover 1% of all the existing variety. And since devil fruits only spawn on a similarly looking fruit, it mostly depended on luck to find the devil fruit of a person who died in the upper yard. That's why Amon asks what the enemy's fruit looked like most of the time, though in this war, that couldn't happen. So Amon only got 5 devil fruits this time from the thousands of people who died. Amon looked at the people in front of him, then he picked the leftmost fruit and tossed it forward. Ah! Tsumi caught the fruit with her eyes shining. This was a precious fruit. How can he throw it? Though she didn't question out loud. Amon laughed, hearing her internal thoughts. Amon ordered, "Eat the fruit." Eh? Tsumi looked around. You mean me? As Amon nodded, a sly smile bloomed on Tsumi's face. She assumed all her conning had finally taken effect. Eat it! After Amon's second command, Tsumi instantly raised the fruit towards her now wide-open mouth. She didn't know what type of ability she will get, but she was fine with anything. Wait! Suddenly, Amon called as Tsumi stopped. My lord? Tsumi looked ahead, confused. Amon picked another fruit and threw it forward. Tsumi barely caught it with her hand, already having another fruit in it. Now give me that fruit. Try eating the new one. Again confused, Tsumi gave Amon the previous fruit and proceeded to eat the other one. However, even this time when she was about to take a bite, Amon called out, "Wait, not that too!" Amon threw her another fruit, which Tsumi caught yet again. Tsumi made a bitter face. Is he trying to tease me, or just giving me false hope? Sighing, she returned the other fruit and proceeded to eat the fruit. She was expecting another stop from Amon, but Amon didn't call. Crunch. Tsumi, still expecting a shout, butt the fruit and gulped it. Ah, this tastes bad. As a priest, Tsumi didn't curse, but she wanted to this time. Amon nodded his head. Good, Tsumi. There is no need to eat the whole thing if you want, though you should eat it expecting a miracle. Tsumi didn't want to eat, but seeing the low-ranking priests behind her, she proceeded to eat the whole fruit, trying to preserve her pride. Beside Tsumi, Yona, whose hand was bandaged, was also there. It was a miracle how she healed such an injury in 2 days. High-tech medical equipment truly is overpowered. Tsumi stayed silent for a few seconds before raising her hand. I feel... Her olive skin started to pale. Awesome. See crunch. The air froze in front of her. Cold, cold fruit. This one is awesome. Tsumi got Kula's cold fruit. Tsumi seemed particularly happy with what she got. This was seemingly a battle of luck, since nobody knew which fruit had which powers, not even Amon. At least not until Tsumi proceeded to raise the fruit to her mouth. Future sight. That was why he stopped Tsumi from eating the 2 fruits. He knew they were not suitable for her. Amon saw the future where Tsumi has eaten the other fruits. He found out what powers the fruit held. This is not good enough to implant in battle, since I need to focus for 3 seconds and can only see less than a minute in the future, Amon thought. If he used it against Kizaru, he would have died. I didn't need to face any life-death situation to get this one, unlike the other 2 forms of haki. Observation is my proud side, that's why. Indeed, he achieved this ability with sheer training. There was no need to face an enemy who Amon was struggling against, since after all, no one is faster than him anyway, thus no need for a better way to dodge. Ah, 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 ah. Tsumi was laughing as if this was one of her happiest days. Her red cheeks and sweet smile caught the attention of some people, though they quickly looked away. Air freeze! Tsumi cried as the air around froze, snow starting to fall. This was awesome. While everyone was looking at her with jealous or congratulating eyes, among the crowd, Yona was looking at her with her hardly readable expression. She just stared at her for a second before her eyes became soft. She glanced at Amon. Her expectant eyes were clear to Amon, but Amon completely ignored her. Now you 4 come forward. Amon called out the other priest like Om Sutra, and their group walked forward. Yona opened her lips to say something, but she didn't in the end. She just smiled lightly and looked down. It was then Yona sensed someone running here. She frowned and went to see who it was. Yona was surprised to get the news from the guy who came here running. With a paper in her hand, she ran towards Amon with a cheerful expression. She was aware of the bounty system and knew about the highest bounties that were public. So this was, "My lord, my Kami!" Her cheerful and excited shout attracted everyone's attention. Amon looked at her as his eyes fell upon the poster in her hand. "My lord, you got the bounty of..."